Divine love, family. We are back for another prayer. This is day 4 for our 100 days and 100 nights, manifesting God powers and protecting our youth. Gang members, this is a shout out for the gang members, the Bloods in Stockton, California, the Crips in LA, the Gangsters in LA, all the gangs and the youth in Atlanta, Chicago, O Block, Atlanta, Florida, all over America. We are protecting the youth. This is a leaders challenge. Hashtag leaders challenge. Hashtag protect our youth. I, Ianifa, Empress Ninti El Bay, declare that our youth are protected morning, noon, and night. Each of them are covered and shielded with a hedge of protection surrounding them. No weapons formed shall prosper against them. No weapons penetrate them or their protection. All negative energy intended for them has been consumed with love and dissolved into the black hole of no return. If you a leader and you want to make a positive change, say these prayers and affirmations daily. I now invoke the Holy Spirits of truth and love to shine upon all untruths, and I cut away any and all ungodly soul ties, generational curses between myself and anything or anybody else that may be attached knowingly or unknowingly that does not serve my highest and best good, our highest and best good. Ego attachments have been cut. All negative attachments have been cut, severed, and destroyed forever, undone, and not ever to be done. Along with all that does not serve my highest and best good, these untruths and ungodly soul ties are now cut, severed, destroyed, dissolved, and transformed by the light in me, the Christ I am. I am now free, healed, and renewed in mind, body, and soul and spirit. I cast my worldly burden upon the Christ within, and I set myself free. For who the Most High sets free is free indeed. All people, places, and things not serving my highest and best good, our highest and best good, have been cut from me, we and us, and my family, and my ancestors, my bloodline, and my soul tribe. All that does not serve our highest and best good is now and forevermore completely, absolutely, and permanently undone, dissolved, and destroyed forever. Thank you, Mother God and Father God. So it is, so it is, so it is, and so it shall forever be. Mine, mantras, magic over everything. Ashe, 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 Wa.
Shit,
Tribe, can
wow.
y'all see this prayer pretty good?
Uh,
Yes.
kind of
Okay,
small.
it's kind of small.
Uh,
Okay, go ahead, Bernice Earl. What do you want to share with our youth and everybody watching? I yield.
well, I want to share the knowledge that I have that given them day before yesterday and yesterday. Reiterate over it. Um, Make sure you do a reclamation, which is to reclaim your birthright. And some people will say, "Well, what is my birthright?" Your birthright is all the land.
Say it
All the
again.
land. Your birthright is all the land. All the land is your birthright.
Ashe.
So, that being said, Do your due diligence and research. You are not landless. Uh, you are not stateless. Again, all the land belongs to you, and you need to reclaim that birthright. Ashe.
Ashe, 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 wah. Where are you from?
I'm from Northern California. Northern California, the Califia territory here in California.
And what is your name, sir?
Noble Bernasero McGill L. Bay. I am the volunteer chief constable for the Indigenous Aborigine Cherokee Wars under Empress Ninti L. Bay.
Ashe, 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 wah. What so far? Can you give us any kind of advice or testimony regarding being diligent in positive prayers and affirmations in your
Prayers,
experience?
yes, the prayers do work. Say them as often as you can. You have to arm yourself and recognize the ancestors. If you don't recognize the ancestors will not recognize you. This is a fact. Things in your life will make changes once you recognize the ancestors. And if you don't recognize the ancestors, things will stay the same and in fact get worse. And that's not a joke. We're coming upon some serious times here. It's going to be food shortage. It's going to be a
Well,
lot of
don't
things
speak
that's
it.
going on. Uh,
Don't you speak it. You got the power to make it so.
Food shortage for all those who don't recognize their ancestors. I guarantee you, recognize your ancestors and you'll be all right. That's a fact.
What happened to I was looking forward to let me see. Let me see. Our other tribal member, where'd she go? Okay, there she is. She came back. Vicky, anything you wanna say? Hold on, let me make sure you turn your microphone on. Hold on one sec.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you real good, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Greetings from Khalifa territory. I am Nobitis Victorious V. I've been with the tribe since 2016-17. The prayers work. The prayers have been working since I've been praying them. I've used them in every aspect of my life. When I was having financial hardships, housing hardships, having difficulty getting food and resources, breaking ties in relationships with lovers or partners. Um, just do be consistent as you do anything else. It is a ritual. It is a routine. It is a daily practice. If you practice it daily, you will see a breakthrough. And I've journaled some of my breakthroughs. So when I write my memoir, I will be sharing those.
That's a good idea. I should have
Yeah.
been doing it too. I just try to put mine out there when it happens.
So my goal is to be able to go through my journals and find where was I at. Even with struggles, emotional, codependency, uh, in relationships with family members and friends. I also help break well unhealthy senses is just not for your highest good. Like it is really in your best interest to invest spiritually in yourself. It's up to a battery. Like you say these prayers enough and you affirm these prayers, you will see a difference in your life.
Ashe.
You will see a difference. And share your experience. You know, if you have a breakthrough, share it. Overcame something, share it. You know, don't be afraid to give the mother God, and the father God the honor for guiding you through this life on this here. You know, this is to me, earth is hell. Just to me, this heaven on earth. This is hell on earth to me. So that's just my personal experience of how it works. Just remember, whatever you ground yourself to, you have to stick with it. If you let it go, it weakens. Consistency, focus, and dedication. Thank you.
Definitely.
I'll
Where are
share.
you from, Victorious V? If you don't mind telling us. Are you still there?
Hold on.
It got cut off.
Yeah, I think that's one of our challenges or tests, I will say, to realize that this can be heaven on earth, but it's the work that we got to put in. Your microphone is not working, Vicky. I see you trying to
It
say
should be back
something.
on now.
Okay, it's on now. So, yeah, it can be hell on earth. It has been for a lot of us. That's because we are at the front of the ship turning it around. It has been literally hell on earth for a lot of us, chosen ones, star seeds, forerunners, because we have been had to be at the forefront to experience a lot of things that's been going on the whole time for at least 125 years. It has not been no 500 years, nowhere near it. It's only been 125 years. So, what they have said, you can research for yourself. Go to the archives. You have for to find truth. You have to go to the reputable sources that have maintained the lawful, reputable timelines and records. You cannot rely on any material that has been passed down or forced us to assimilate into believing and reading and learning from. As far as his story, it is just that, his story. The story that he wanted us to know, the one who came and stole everything from our ancestors. They are not at, at any type of liberty, or they don't have any type of responsibility to tell us the truth. So that is not where we can rely upon for, the lawful truth. So I've studied at the National Archives, International Archives, documents that were in existence prior to the 125-year timeline. You can find evidence that the 500 years never existed. You can find evidence that there was an empire here in America. You can find evidence that the Asiatics, the Aborigine of the world, ruled the world, and still, on a side note, have been ruled. Others have been ruling the world from the background, who are Asiatic, but not of the true, no imperial and royal bloodlines of nobility. They have only been acting like it and impersonating that role for the last 125 years. So they are the ones who have all the power. So a lot of people who really understand the science, who really understand the truth, who really understand that, the promise that was made to us has not fallen short, and know that there has been imposters acting like royal families, because there is no way that if you are a truth seeker, a manifester, and adept at knowledge and learning, you know that the um, pale faces who are not of Asian descent, so you have Asiatic, Asian, and Caucasian. We have been mistakenly calling the pale faces Caucasian. That is not valid. But anyway, so if we know that the power comes from the source, the first, imperial means first, we should know that there can be no pale face royal families. The power has been in the wrong hands. That's why it has been so much disruption in government, in business, in politics. Nothing has been in order. If you notice, nothing has been in order. That's because the things at the top have not been in order. And everything, it was a fallen angel. I ain't gonna get too deep into it. The fallen angel came from the royal bloodline, the imperial royal bloodline on earth. That was the fallen angel. And it doesn't mean she fell down from heaven and fell. It means that in literal terms, but I'm talking about visually. If somebody say a fallen angel, you think they just fell down or something from the sky. It ended up here. Most times that's what I assume people think. But it happened over time. Okay. So the fallen angel, what I have found it to mean is that the fallen angel was from the highest bloodline that was ruling on earth. And that fallen angel turned on the family. That fallen angel was a daughter that came out of the Americas who ended up ruling parts of the empire from London, England. So she was apart from her family in America, and she went astray. So they call her the fallen angel. It's so many text, so much text, and so many books that we do not have access to. The only thing they gave us access to was the Bible. Thank God they couldn't change everything in the Bible, but it's definitely been altered, because the Bible is not the original text and the original um, stories from the bloodline who left that book behind. Okay, the imposters took the book and made it into whatever they wanted to make it into to suit themselves. Okay, that was adding the J, the O, and the U, which never existed until the false Jews put it there. And it was not named the Bible. So you know, they plagiarized the Bible omitted what they wanted, put in and took out what they wanted. And same with the Quran. All of these religions work together. It was to control the people of the land through religion.
All right.
So the whole stories that we have been told, and it's a lot of power in the Bible, don't get me wrong, but the real power that and the story was taken out of the Bible that they passed out to the masses. Just think about it. If you had conquered a people, would you give them all of the Jews? Would you give them all the goods that you found in their book that you stole from them? You wouldn't do that because you wouldn't, if you were them who was unrighteous inquisitioners stealing something, that wouldn't benefit you. A lot of people say, well, they can't take all these religious people. I can hear y'all now. They can't take nothing out the Bible. She don't know what she talking about. Well, I got the words from straight from the source. And that's where the word comes from the source. I come from the Christ line. I know what happened because it's been given to me. The same way the kings in the Bible received their manna. That's where it comes from. It don't come from nobody having to tell you something or teach you something. All my life I've been hearing. How you know that? Who told you that? How you know? How you find that out? Not knowing at the time until I came into revelation about the whole spiritual aspect, that I'm getting these downloads, I'm getting these answers, I'm getting the knowledge from somewhere, not knowing that I'm connected to the source, like for real. So we are the energy source and the knowledge base that these entities, Cabal, Vatican, Archdiocese, Catholic Church, fake Jews, synagogues, have pulled the knowledge from. They stole the main pieces out of the ancient texts, the Holy Grail, and put it into their secret books, their Masonic books. So a lot of the knowledge they knew. Some of my tribal members early on, after I came out with the fez on, the black fez, and just making moves, demonstrating my rulership on the land, developing the tribe and things like that, who had Masonic backgrounds, they told me this. They told me you are the one in uh, Revelations 12. And it was some more texts that they couldn't tell me about, that they've been sworn to secrecy in their Masonic groups, but they have that knowledge. They have those books that we don't have access to. So I'm learning all of that. I'm moving in the image and the likeness of my ancestors already. Nobody had to tell me this. This is something that's in your DNA. If it's in your DNA, it's going to come out of you. If you were born to do something, it's going to come out of you without no direction, without no instructions. Nobody has to tell you this. Okay? Nobody has to be the one to tell you that you're going to have a court, you're going to be ruling over land. All of these things I found out from spiritual higher ups later in life. But I was already doing these things and heading in these directions. So the Bible is the bib of El. That's the original term. Nobody told me this. I get the answers. If you're tapped in, you can get the answers too. The Bible is originally the bib of El. What is the bib of El? What is the bib of El? The bib of El is breath. Bib, breath. This is the bib right here, the breath of El. So they switched it around. This is how you know. Once you learn the enemy, adversary, the opposition, ops, you know their ways. They always changed one or two letters in every word and made it their own. And added a J, added a U, added a O. Everywhere that you see the J and the O in the Bible, the fake Jews put it there. Some may say, why? Why did they do that? Okay, it came to me. They did this because they did not have a name. You came out the cave, you wouldn't have a name either. You wouldn't have no place in the timeline of history. So then you have to make one. You have to inject yourself there. You would have to place yourself in a timeline where you never existed. And so that's how these things came about. The certain names and words that we see now in the Bible. So the Bible that they put out and copyrighted and put into law by Congress in 1980 has to be done away with. So when I came into the knowledge of my bloodline and the knowledge of moving in an authoritative figure by way of a court, a tribal court, I started putting these things into play and ordering the Vatican, ordering governments to stop plagiarizing and pull all these falsehoods down. See, my family and a lot of people don't know the reason I've had challenges, the reason why ops and fakes, fake law enforcers and sheriffs trying to come at me all the time because I'm moving like a freight train the whole time. The word is powerful, especially if you know how to wield it, especially if you are in the right of way of what you are doing. They cannot refute it, rebut it, or get away from it. They can't. So the next thing they want to do, the only thing they know to do, because they're nothing but liars, cheaters, and thieves, and robbers and killers, is try to uh, remove this truth teller that's exposing them out of the picture. But thank God they can never remove me out of the picture. They've been trying for years to remove me out of the picture. But all of these things had to happen to strengthen me so that I could come and be the water bearer that I am. Come and bring the message and come and bring forth the truth. Because in finding the truth in myself and my own family line is it, turning and erasing all generational curses off of the star seeds and aborigine of America. Because what I have uncovered for myself has to do with it all. Little did I know, my family line never knew this. All of these truths have been revealed to me and coming back through us at this time because this is the time of revelation. You can go right now and tap into self and find out who you are on this planetary plane. There's plenty of ways spiritually you can do it. You can go online right now to gematria.com, type in your name. It deals with the science of numbers and letters, and it will tell you who you are. I didn't know, I'm 51. I didn't know who I really and truly was until 4 years ago. And I've had a tribe for 10 years now. A bona fide, solidified tribe recognized by the Library of Congress, world renowned in the higher places for all this time. But I didn't know particularly the specific bloodline that I came from until 4 years ago. And that changed everything for me because now I'm really going hard. I'm really going hard. Y'all really ain't gonna tell me nothing now. Y'all really ain't gonna tell me nothing now. You mean to tell me? I mean, I went through a crying spell because I was in such disbelief that this could even have happened. That how come we never knew this? How come my family never knew this? How come we had to suffer all these years and this whole land mass is under our estate, family estate? It's a responsibility that the family line who's talked about in the Bible has at birth. So this Bible that this ancient text that they talk about as being in the Bible is actually a family legacy. It's actually a book of instructions that was passed down through lineages and it was never meant to be passed out to the masses. That's not what we did with it. It was passed down from generation to generation within a family dynamic. And when this message came to me, it brought me straight to my spiritual godfather of the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria. And he carries around a book like this. And in this book, he can go back and see what his great great grandfather said, who was also a high priest of Babalawo. He can go back and see what his ancestors had to say. He's reading their words. They are no longer here on this earth. But he can go back. This is like a family heirloom of teachings and instructions. If he needs to know something regarding whatever lesson, whatever is going on in his reading that came out, he can go back and reflect on it. So that's what the same thing the Bible, the bib of, let me correct that. Now that I've explained what the Bible really is, I'm going to now call it what it is. It's the bib of El. That means the breath of El. These words and knowledge and teachings and instructions came from the bib, breath of El. Okay, the bib of El was to be passed down to the El. Okay, the ruler. That's why the book is talking about kings. Why else would it be talking about kings? But one thing they did not leave in there, they left the king this and king that in there, but they didn't leave the family name in there. Or the family name was never in there because the family knew who they were. They already knew who they were. There was no need to say this is this, this, and this. There's no last names in the Bible. Think about that. They tell you all of these names and that this was a king and Queen Sheba and blah blah blah, and but very rarely do you see the whole name, first name and last name of that ruling family. There's a reason for that. So we have all of these things that we have been taught, and it's just now coming out because of revelation because they stole everything, the knowledge, the teachings and instructions from us and never planned on giving it to us. So our ancestors told us and made us a promise: we will not ever leave you or forsake you. So since it took these wicked evildoers so long to reveal it to us, they had to start giving it back to us themselves. They was not going to leave us or forsake us from our birthright inheritance, and that has to do spiritually, physically, mentally, metaphysically, metabolically, chemically, in every way, shape, or form. They got to bring it back to us because that's their promise to us. They gave the ops time to get themselves right. They wouldn't do it. They gonna die with the lie. I remember one time before I left Detroit and moved to North Carolina, was like 2005, 2005. I was going to Bishop Wayne T. Jackson and Pastor Beverly Y. Jackson's church, non-denominational, which is why I was attracted to it. They wasn't real heavy on religion, but more so on the promise, the spiritual aspect of it, and gifts, developing your gifts, your spiritual gifts of prophecy and things like that. And it was several prophecies that came to me through them. And this is how I began to break through the fog and get my clarity, because we've been under so many um, generational curses and spells put upon us that we never knew about. We never knew about is it was cloaking our spiritual gifts, minds for sure. Let me speak for myself, but I know for a fact these groups exist. You talking about the Nicene Council, the Cabal, the Illuminati, the Jesuits, the Zionists, these Zionists that's over on Palestinians' lands, talking about it's their lands and bombing everything because the truth came out in the international courts that they got to get these people their land back. So instead of them giving their land back, they rather tear up everything until somebody starts believing their lies again, which is never going to happen. Now they just reveal themselves for who they really are: evil, liars, cheaters, and thieves, and they still don't want to give these people their land back. Like I don't know who they think they are, but everybody who knows anything about the timelines of legacy in the world knows that they're frauds and that's not their land. So you have these type of groups that make it their business and their jobs to do these rituals, seances, and whatever else that they are doing to conjure up these illusions that have been over the masses for so long. It's a job for them to keep us lost and confused and going from pillar to post and not having nothing and blah blah blah, because it's all ours. But instead of them coming out and telling the truth, they still keep going on and on and on and creating more illusions and lies. So in 2005, there was one time a Jewish rabbi came to Bishop Wayne T. Jackson and gave him a $60,000. This is what he said. It was a $60,000 scroll, a Torah, written in Hebraic language. And this was his way of repenting and joining together with the body of Christ. So a lot of them do know it's time for them to repent. And this was 20 years ago. Now, it's been 20 years ago now that this happened. So they've been knowing for a long time that they had to stop with the lies and the BS and bring back to us what is ours, our inheritance, starting with our spiritual inheritance. But some of them, they just gonna die with the lie. It should have been a long time ago that they began to give back what they stole, including our spiritual inheritance and the land and the governance and everything else that they came in and stole. Some of us and some of our tribes, which we had thousands of tribes in America, they could not take out. They could not do nothing with us. So then they have to do they have to play their sorcery games and pit us against each other. The only thing more powerful than us is ourselves. So that's where you get the gang violence, especially in California. California was already warrior territory. So what these sorcerers did, all these sorcerers, witches, warlocks, and wizards in California, in the hills of California, Disney, Walt Disney, and all of them, they make it their practice and their job to keep that gang violence going. Because if you focus on them, you're not going to be focused on your inheritance. You're not going to be focused. If you think you somebody that look like you and got their same blood running through your veins, that they got it running through their veins, is your enemy, then you're not focused on the real enemy. Make sense? You wouldn't be focused on the real enemy because you think your brother that got the same blood running through his veins is your enemy when he's not, when she's not. That's not your enemy. But because of these illusions and cloaking spells and constant energy to discombobulate everything, we've been pit against each other to make these things seem the way they are. Okay, I'll be back for another download and lesson. My battery is running out. But protect the youth. Leaders challenge. It's time to save these babies and stop all this senseless nonsense in the streets and fighting over nothing because the land is already yours. It's already been promised to you. There's nothing for you to fight about. It's nothing for our babies to keep dying about. I'm talking to y'all in Detroit, California, North Carolina, Florida, Atlanta, Chicago. Raise each other up. Get your businesses going. Take back the governments. Turn your aggression towards the beings who stole your land, and not the ones who got the same blood running through their veins. Ashe. Peace and divine love to my family, my youth. I love y'all from the one godmother in Presentio Bay. Ashe. We're gonna
Say
see y'all.
wow.
Ashe Wa. We're gonna see y'all tomorrow again for another prayer, protection, affirmation. Mind, mantras, magic over everything. And I'm out.